lots of things happening. First, we have to start with some laughs. It's Monday morning, right? Monday morning is kind of a grind sometimes. So we'll start with some laughs. This is absolutely hilarious. And it doesn't disappoint. And it keeps bringing the LOLs all the way to the end. 26 seconds. Here we go.
Why is the American military shooting something out of the sky over Canada?
Because it's part of NORAD. The NORAD is part of it's a what you call a coalition, a consortium,
a pact of nations.
A pact,
okay.
Exactly. And so that's why we were able to do that. Again, we didn't do it on our own. We did it clearly in step with Canada.
Nailed it.
Why?
Who did you do it in step with? Clearly with that giant northern country, right? Just the hat of the United States. You couldn't remember the name of Canada? You went with Canada? Canada, right? So here, I thought this was a very, very good illustration of what NORAD is supposed to cover and what they are actually covering, because it seems kind of crazy. So it's the tweet says basically, isn't NORAD supposed to cover this whole area here, North American airspace boundary, right? And the objects noticed were very, very interior to the space that NORAD is supposed to be watching. So it seems like they're not watching very closely, right? Doesn't it seem like that? It seems kind of hilarious considering the location of the balloons and whatever that are being found and shot down, happening after the balloons have traversed the entire country. Now they're showing up in the middle of Lake Huron, right? Anita Anand says, today a high altitude object was detected in U.S. airspace over Lake Huron. NORAD launched Canadian and U.S. aircraft to investigate, and the object was taken down in U.S. airspace by U.S. aircraft. We unequivocally support this action. This was 5:30 p.m. on yesterday, the 12th of February, 2023. A year ago, was it a year ago that they invoked the Emergencies Act? No, the Emergencies Act was invoked on Valentine's Day, wasn't it? Valentine's Day, that's tomorrow. So that's pretty wild. So that was from the 12th. Here's Brian Passafume. This is 2:57 p.m. from yesterday. And he says, something's definitely going on over the Great Lakes. Big chunks of airspace being closed off, including areas around Tobermory, Lake Huron, from the surface up to 30,000 feet for active air defense operation. The ECB and KC-135 still orbiting the top of the murder mitten. So there you go. Very interesting stuff happening here. Was, I believe this is reporters' questions. I don't know if this is Fox. I'm not sure which news this is, but there's two that I wanted to show you and I thought were funny. So here we go with the first one.
Thank you, Tar. Thank you, sir, ma'am. Let's go to Jen Griffin, Fox News.
Hey, thanks, Pat. This is Liz. I'll be asking for Jen today. Are these balloons that have been shot down since Friday, or are they weather balloons?
You want me to take
Thanks
that?
very much for the question. Yep, go ahead, Glenn.
Yeah, so I'm not going to categorize them as balloons. We're calling them objects for a reason. Certainly the event off the South Carolina coast for the Chinese spy balloon, that was clearly a balloon. These are objects. I am not able to categorize how they stay aloft. It could be a gaseous type of balloon inside a structure, or it could be some type of a propulsion system. But clearly, they're able to stay aloft. I would be hesitant to and urge you not to attribute it to any specific country. We don't know. That's why it's so critical to get our hands on these so that we can further assess and analyze what they are.
So that's interesting. So if you found, I said yesterday, if you found a craft that you couldn't describe how it stayed aloft, you weren't really sure, and you couldn't tell, first option would be shoot that thing down, get that thing gone. What are you going to do? Get it. Right? Here's the next obvious follow-up question. Is it aliens? Right? Here we go. Oh, this is not queued up. Hold on. Okay, that's properly queued. Here we go.
Hi, thanks, Pat, and thanks for doing this. This is for General Van Herk. Because you still haven't been able to tell us what these things are that we are shooting out of the sky, that raises the question, have you ruled out aliens or extraterrestrials? And if so, why? Because that is what everyone is asking us right now.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Helene. I'll let the intel community and the counterintelligence community figure that out. I haven't ruled out anything at this point. We continue to assess every threat or potential threat unknown that approaches North America with an attempt to identify it.
Hi, thanks, Pat.
They don't know if it's aliens, and they're not ruling out aliens. Here we go. Buckle up, right? It's quite interesting. I still think that it's insane. This is 10:05 a.m. on February 12th. So I think this is about previous objects, but the general was clear in the news clip I just showed you that the objects, the North Carolina balloon was a spy balloon, but these other objects, different than that, says him, and he couldn't quantify or qualify their propulsion device. So that's interesting. That's weird, right? And Trudeau says, yeah, I made the decision to shoot that thing down. Okay, here you go.
First of all, the safety of Canadians is our number one priority, and that's why I made the decision to shoot down the object that was a threat to civil aviation and a potential threat to Canadians.
So, good first contact move. Shoot them down, take them down, and we're going to study that thing. We're going to figure out how that thing flies. Shoot them down. I mean, unexpected from Trudeau. You thought he'd be more inclusive, right? More open-minded. Kyle Becker says, don't let UFOs and Chinese spy balloons distract you from the fact that a U.S. president ordered Russian pipelines to be blown up without notifying Congress, then misled the American people about it, risking World War III to defend a corrupt nation where his son, Hunter, raked in millions of dollars. He's talking about Ukraine and the various oil and gas companies that Hunter sits on as a board member and gets paid, et cetera, et cetera. Lots of very interesting stuff happening. Honestly, there's so many things happening. It's crazy. Jimmy Dore says, in response to this, how America took out the Nord Stream pipeline by Seymour Hersh. This is the blog post that was written. And Jimmy Dore says, only thing left to do is cut Social Security and spend trillions or so on a new space force to fight aliens. Also, don't look at this. Right? How America took out the Nord Stream pipeline with Norway. So a lot of people think it's a distraction. The White House thinks that it might actually be a distraction. And so the White House released to Reuters, White House says blog post on Nord Stream explosion is utterly false. So Sai says, can we talk about how a decorated journalist has to resort to a blog post to break this story? Mainstream media must be the height of corruption. Yeah, mainstream media is the government. That is the person you're blowing the whistle on. They will say, looks like an interesting story, but I don't think our readers would be interested in it. That's what they'd say. Here's the Reuters report. This is job done, right? This is mess cleaned up. Reuters is reporting that the White House says that the Nord Stream explosion allegations by Hersh are utterly false. There you go. Done. Debunked, right? If you go look at Snopes.com right now, did America blow up the U.S. pipeline? Debunked. They say, no way. Hersh was lying when he wrote all that. Don't pay any attention to that. Didn't you see the aliens? Tara says, breaking, White House confirms downed objects do not resemble Chinese balloon. In 2023, my phone can zoom in on the moon. Where's the photo evidence? Right. Where is that photo evidence? Let's see it. Let's see a picture of this thing aloft. Let's see a picture of from the plane that took down one of these objects. I'd love to see it. I'd love to. Let's see it. Be very interesting. The Globe and Mail, and I've seen entire cities raised up from the ground and then dropped. What was it? What Avengers movie was that? Ultron, right? Where they've got that. So like seeing a small car-sized object. I don't think I would in a video. I don't know that I'd believe it. I'd have to see a lot more than that to believe it's aliens. Their technology looks a lot like ours. Got screws and everything. Look at that. Is that Phillips? China accused U.S. of flying more than 10 high-altitude balloons in its airspace during the past year. Everybody's doing the balloon thing? Holy smoke. And Canada got left out of that party too? We didn't get the memo, says Trudeau. Canada's working on balloons now, right? Trudeau's got people blowing them up in the background, right? So apparently the U.S. is sending balloons against China. China's sending balloons against the U.S. We're caught in the crossfire, and all of a sudden they're aliens. So, I mean, what are you going to do? 2023, right? Jeepers creepers. What comes next? Hello, everyone. Thanks for watching. Check out CanadaPoly.com or CanadaPoly2.locals.com for full episodes of Canada Poly Daily, looking at Canadian politics from a Canadian point of view. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.